Hi everyone. Today is Monday, January 28th. It is the last week of January already. How can you believe it? So we're going to do another weekly energy read. So this should be some messages and some information about the week ahead. Of course, it's a general reading, so it may not apply to everyone, but as several of you know, what I do with these energy readings is I give you the option of selecting 3 cards. So it is individualized in the way that you see which message really calls out to you before we get to the point where you know what the cards are. So you want to really dig deep, use your intuition to try to select the right card. So I did pre-shuffle the cards a bit, but we'll shuffle them just a bit more. And we'll send the message out to the universe if they can give us some information that's going to resonate with most people that are watching this. And if you could select the cards specifically for the higher good of anyone who is watching this video. And if that higher power could really come through if you're watching this video, so that you know whether you should be selecting card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3 today. So this week we're using the typical Rider-Waite deck. We've been using Oracle cards the last few weeks. Today we are going to our faithful favorite, the Rider-Waite deck. So we will spread out these cards. Remember, you want to see, does your energy align with number 1, number 2, or number 3? So the first card that we select, and then we will choose a second card. Dear universe, please help us pick the energy most representative this week for those people choosing number 2. And finally, we will choose that third card, looking for the energy for this week. Okay, and now the big reveal. So final chance, card 1, card 2, card 3. Don't change your mind after. Go with what your intuition says. Okay, so card number 1. Okay, so for card number 1, we've got the 5 of Wands. So if you look at that imagery on that card, you can see that there are 5 people in the picture. Each of them have a wand, and they appear to be battling themselves. So if you chose this card, your energy this week may be a little changeable. You may feel like you're not on the most steady ground this week, that there is a little bit of a struggle. So although, of course, we never like to hear this information, we would rather pull, the Sun card or the Star card. Looking at this card, we don't want to hear that there's a possibility that there will be some struggles this week. But this card, all these cards do have a positive message attached to them. And this card here says that although you may have some change, you may have some instability, you may have some struggle, that you need to have that shift occur for improvement to come into your life. So that basically, if you are prepared and you know that there might be a wee bit of a difficulty coming up, and you're prepared and you handle it, then you are going to be in a position where you're going to be able to then make a significant shift that improves your life. So this could be business or relationship oriented. So if it's something with work, maybe you're taking on too much, maybe there's a little conflict going on in the environment. Similarly, if you're in a relationship, you may feel like there's some obstacles this week and that it's pulling you apart. But in either situation, know that this has to happen to get to that better place. Okay, so card number 2, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So Pentacles generally have to do with money, although they don't always have to do with money. Obviously, they can also have to do with relationships. When you look at the Queen of Pentacles, you can see that she looks like a mature figure. She's sitting in a very comfortable chair that almost looks like a throne. She's got beautiful scenery around her. She's got the mountains in the background. She's got a lot of yellow, signifying sunshine. And then she's got flowers around the perimeter over here. If you look carefully, there's even a little rabbit down here that's jumping into the card. It's a little hard to see. It's down right over there. So if you chose this card, it could mean that maybe this week you need to exhibit the qualities of the Queen of Pentacles. So what are those qualities, you ask? Well, she's got a natural gift for money and for business. She's very practical. She's a practical woman. She's connected to the earth, hence all of the nature around her. And she's good with animals. She's good with gardens. She's very connected to, again, both the environment around her and to her pentacles, to her money. So maybe this card is telling you that this week you need to be a little more practical and wise about your finances. Now, I told you that it's often about money, but it doesn't have to be. So if you were drawn to this energy read and you were looking for some information about your relationship, what this card says is that you need to be committed to long-term relationships if they're practical. So this woman is all about practicality. So this is not like the Queen of Cups that's dealing with emotions. This card is giving you the message of practicality, whether that message pertains to money or whether that message pertains to relationships. So the biggest message, if you chose this card, is to be grounded this week. Grounded in your relationships and grounded in your financial affairs. The last card is the Four of Cups. So those of you who chose this card are feeling a little unsatisfied this week. So if you look at this card here, you can see you've got this person sitting underneath the tree, and they've got their legs crossed and they've got their arms crossed. And the universe is making them an offering. This cloud here represents the universe. It's holding out a cup. That person could care less about that cup. He is not even looking at the offering from the universe. Instead, he's looking at these 3 cups over here in the distance that he can't really reach from his vantage point. So this card here, it sometimes happens when you are bored. So maybe you're bored in your workplace, Or maybe you're bored in your relationship. Maybe things are not moving fast enough for you. You're not getting that promotion that you wanted. You're not getting the recognition that you wanted. Or you're just not getting to that place in your relationship that you wanted to be at by this point. But what this card is saying is it's saying that you need to be focusing on these wonderful 3 cups that you have that are right in front of you, rather than this offering that's coming from the universe that isn't quite what you want. So what you need to do, the overall message with this one, is that you need to focus on gratitude. You need to focus on what's there in front of you that you could have if you made a little effort to reach forward to grab them. So if you want to shift things, try some gratitude exercises. So there are many, many things that you could do to practice gratitude. Sometimes you could just sometimes I make a daily list, 10 things that I'm grateful for. And they can be things that have actually occurred that you're grateful for, or you could also include in that list some items written in the present tense that you would really like to manifest, that you would be overjoyed and extremely grateful for if they occur. So that's the energy this week. So depending on what card you picked, you may need to deal with a little conflict to make that big shift to move ahead. You may need to be a little practical when it comes to your relationships or your work. Or you may need to focus on gratitude and try to get yourself out of that, maybe that rut where you're a little bit bored because things aren't moving fast enough. Focus on gratitude to get that shift that you eventually want. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll be back next week. Everyone have a fabulous week, and we will chat in February.